Good day everyone. I am Chair Estelantino from Bitaled 2B. Today I would like to share my insights about the video that I watched, entitled Students with Disabilities in Special Education Categories. In this video, I have learned that there are 14 categories of students with disabilities, and their characteristics vary in ways to handle their different teaching strategies for children with disabilities. Now, let's begin with intellectual disabilities. Some people with intellectual impairments have trouble comprehending complicated language and revealing their feelings and thoughts orally. There are plenty of steps we can take to help foster effective communication with them, like being sure to communicate with concise, simple sentences and present ideas gradually. Next, we have deep blindness. These are the students who have difficulty following verbal directions, difficulty with oral expressions, and some difficulties with social, emotional, or interpersonal skills. We can use multimedia approaches for a visual representation of lesson content and learn how to use sign language as well. Moving on to specific learning disabilities, who have trouble in reading, writing, and math. Dyslexia is an example of specific learning disabilities. It's hard for the students to listen, to speak, and to spell. A teacher should be patient and allow for alternative measures. In other words, if a student has extreme difficulty with collaborative work, allow him her to work alone. Next is deafness. It's obvious that they have difficulty in hearing and understanding verbal language. The best way to handle them is to use multimedia strategies for lessons to make sure you can engage effectively with students who are deaf or hard of hearing. Make sure any videos used in a lesson plan have captions so students can follow along, or transcripts for students to read and to go back to. Another one is developmental delay. Between the ages of 3 to 9, most motor functions, speech, or social skills are not up to par with other kids at their age. One way to encourage that behavior is to be consistent with classroom routines by doing the same thing each day. The students know what to expect and can begin following the same actions without additional guidance. Moving on to other health impairments. ADD and ADHD are the most common health impairment. Kids who have weak bones, vertebrae issues are all acute health problems. The teacher should establish eye contact with any students who has ADD or ADHD, conducting the lesson and keeping instructions simple and structured. Next, emotional disturb. These are the students that cannot keep an interpersonal relationship with fellow classmates. Just remember that practice makes perfect when dealing with students who are emotionally disturbed. While trial and error are inevitable at best, making a viable effort never fails. Most importantly, the students need to know they have someone in their corner actively seeking ways to assist in their special educational journey. Next, speech language impairment. These are the students who have trouble speaking, voice impairment, trouble in eating, and stuttering. The best way to handle them when introducing new vocabulary, help a students with speech impairment. Practice difficult words, dividing words into syllables and pronouncing each syllable with improved speech, reading, and writing. Using many different listening activities will also aid the students in comprehending and determining her own production of sounds. Next, traumatic brain injury. Difficulty in remembering caused by physical force trauma to the brain. We need to provide ample time for task completion and state instructions clearly and go over each steps to make sure that the students understands instructions. Next, orthopedic impairment. Difficulty with large and small daily motor functions. One way to handle students like this is to plan activities in such a way that all children, including the child with orthopedic impairment, can participate. This can be done by adapting the materials you provide, assigning a helper, or allotting a task that they will be able to do independently. Next, visual impairment. Loss of peripheral vision, blind spots, Usually, glasses or contact lenses cannot fix this. We need to provide ample time to children to expect any objects presented for exploration. Use the names of children consistently so that the students with visual impairment will know who is called on or involved in an activity. Another one is multiple disabilities. Usually, this disability, the individual needs care for their whole life with anything from basic tasks to hard tasks. Intellectual disability and impairments cause this. The best way to handle them is to promote the development of cognitive skills through active participation with hand-on materials. Another one is hearing impairment. These are the students that is partial or totally inability to hear. It is a disability that is subsided into two categories, deaf and hard of hearing. One way to handle them is to use facial expressions and body language to highlight your points when appropriate. Don't exaggerate or overdo it. But nonverbal cues like this will help with students' comprehension. Not the least is autism. Many forms of autism speech or nonverbal communication is most common. Repetitive behavior and challenges being social can all lead to having autism. When working with students with autism, schedule a meeting with the child's parents or a school specialist at the beginning of the year. That way, you can get a sense of your students' personal needs and how you can best help. All children needs love, encouragement, and support. And for kids with learning disabilities, such positive reinforcement can help ensure that they emerge with a strong sense of self-worth, confidence, and the determination to keep going even when things are tough.